Hey guys, Raymond Fong here, and I want to share with you some reflections on an event I participated in this past weekend called the GoRuck Heavy. The GoRuck Heavy is an event open to civilians that's modeled after the military. Basically, it's run by retired veterans, Special Forces, Rangers, Green Berets, Delta Forces, Navy SEALs, etc. And they're called cadres, and they will lead you as and X number of other people, however big the team is, through some interesting events. Okay, so let me give you a quick walkthrough what happened. So it started off Friday night at 8 p.m. We met up at Venice Pier in Venice Beach, California, and it was 8 p.m. and we had our rucksacks on. So Go Ruck Heavy, the requirement is you have to have a backpack, a rucksack, and inside a rucksack you're required to have 6 bricks. For me, my waist size, I think once you're over 150 pounds, it's 6. Underneath 150, it's 4. So my rucksack has 6 bricks plus your hydration pack, which weighed in about not quite 10 pounds. It's 3 liters. And the 6 bricks tally up to about 35 something pounds. And of course, I have to weigh the rucksack. And then you're supposed to pack up whatever you think you might need for the next 24 hours. Because the next 24 hours is going to be hell. You're basically rucking. Rucking, I believe it's a military term for force march. So you're basically marching with your rucksack. In my case, my rucksack tally up to be about 50 something, 55 pounds. So the first thing we did at 8 p.m. On Friday was there were 11 of us that showed up. Okay, so there's a team of 11, and we faced the ocean. Cadre's behind us. And oh, one more thing, as a requirement, as a team we had to have one American flag that leads the charge, and we also had a team weight. The team weight was to be just basically pass around, shared amongst the team, however we saw fit. So essentially rotate. One person carry for I don't know, whatever 10 minutes. How they get tired, we rotate to the next person. Same thing with the flag. Okay. So the first event was hey, face the ocean. Again, imagine all of us are dressed up in our gear, whatever we saw fit, running shoes. I had smart wool socks on, had my rucksack, and everybody else the same thing. We lock arms as a team. We march into the ocean. Got to about, I can't remember, like waist high. We turned around, and then we got to our knees. Now, bear in mind, this whole time the waves were kind of crashing against the coast. Nothing too major, but they were definitely enough to knock us around a bit. And then next thing you know is, hey, get on your hands and your feet, and we're gonna do push-ups. Put the rucksack on our back in the ocean. That was fun. Some of the waves were big and strong enough to kind of knock us around. You can imagine when you go down, you're basically submerged in the 55-degree water. That went on for a bit. Next thing was, hey, now turn around, do flutter kicks in the water. So that got us nice and wet, nice and cold, nice and sandy. So now we go back onto the beach, soaked, drenched everywhere, and now onto the next basically 3 hours of hell. Next 3 hours of hell is basically designed to smoke us. Smoke is basically it's a jargon for saying get us really really tired, and we're doing basically all kinds of PT physical training in the sand with our rucksack. I included bear crawl, thrusters, inchworms, push-ups, more flutter kicks, duck walks, elephant walks. I can't remember what else. Lunges. Probably the most challenging part was at one point we had to buddy carry our training buddy. So at the beginning we paired off with somebody else approximately the same size. My buddy ended up being about 10 pounds over me, but it's fine. And we had about 125 yards to travel. And the exercise was okay, carry your buddy, rucksack down that 125 yards in the soft sand. This whole time was in the sand. And so that tallied up to be about what? 300 pounds on my back. Because I had my 55 pounds, he had about 50, 55 pounds, and he weighed 190. That was interesting. So hiking for 300, marching for about 125 yards with 200 pounds. That was intense. There were other crazy exercises. The whole point was, by the end of it all, you were hurting. I don't care how in shape you think you are. I don't care how buff you might be. You are sucking wind. And that's what it's designed for. It's to kind of weed out the weak because that's only 3 hours into the event. And unfortunately, one of the guys, out of 11 people, one person decided to stop at that point. So the one dropped out within the first 3 hours. And the next thing we had to do was march along the sand from Venice Pier to Santa Monica Pier. I can't remember what time it was at that point. It was like maybe midnight. So it's a 3 mile uh, march in the soft sand after we got smoked for 3 hours. We had to basically hike as a team to Santa Monica Pier. That was challenging. I definitely remember my calves were hurting. I was definitely cramping up a little bit. Some folks were cramping up really bad in their quads. And of course, we were still carrying our rucksacks. We're carrying a team weight, we're carrying a flag. But that's only beginning. Because once we got to Santa Monica Pier on the other side, our cadre brings out two duffel bags, military, whatever, military duffel bags. And his instructions were, hey, fill these duffel bags up with sand. So we did. And at the end of it, tie up each, they call them sand babies. Each sand baby weighed in, I will guess, around 250 pounds. Okay? 250 pounds of sand in two of them. And there's 10 of us remaining on the team. And his instructions were, as a team, carry the duffel bags of sand to destination B, which is about 0.7 something miles away. And it took us about 20 minutes just to figure out how to lift the stupid things. Oh my goodness, they're heavy. And it was challenging. Again, we also still always had our rucksacks. We had the flag, we had the team weight. So it was up to us as a team how to come together as a team, work together as a team to move those two sand babies. It wasn't easy. That was a pain in the butt. And again, that was only midnight. We have about 20 something more hours to go. Once we got to destination B, the next basic step was, all right, well, ditch the sand babies, dump the sand out. Here are 6 smaller sandbags. And you have to fill up those sandbags. So each one weighed in about 60 pounds. And between you and your training buddy, we were supposed to hike for, I can't remember, like 2.73 miles. Now we're in the city. So we hiked from Santa Monica Pier. Now we're hiking up, was it Wilshire? Can't remember exactly. And we basically had our rucksack on our back. Now we had the sandbag we had to carry the whole time. And the team weight, right, that we had to rotate. And the flag that we had to rotate. And we're supposed to basically pass it off to as a team, pass it back and forth between our partner. That was 6 bags. So that was, actually, no, 5 bags at this point now. So at any given point, half of us were carrying the sandbags. Whole that person got a rest without it. And then, yeah, that took us to early morning. And then remaining of that time, it was a lot of, hey, guess what? Dump the sand. You don't need the sand anymore. But guess what? You have one casualty. So one casualty means one member of your team can't carry their own rucksack. He or she can't walk. He or she had to be carried. Who got carried and who was the carrier, we can rotate however we saw fit. But we also had time limits in terms of by what point you're supposed to get from point A to point B. And it's up to us how we rotate, when do we rest, all that good stuff. So you can imagine one person can't carry the rucksack. He or she had to be carried. Of course, we had to choose the lightest one who weighed in about 160 pounds. And so that means 2 people had to carry an extra rucksack. Okay, again, on top of the team weight and the team flag. So there were times when I was among the stronger ones. I had to do a carry, so I would have 160 pounds on me. There are times when I had to basically, also was taking a break, only had my rucksack. There are times when I had 2 rucksacks, one on my back, one in the front. There are times when I had both of those and the team weight. So I figured the math, you do it, it's about 100. 2 rucksacks, about 100, 110 pounds. You throw the team weight on, that's 135 pounds. There were times when I had to carry my own rucksack plus a 160-pound guy. What is that? I weigh in 215. And there was a stretch of time where I had to carry, as an example, actually the biggest guy, one of the biggest guys on the team who weighed in 230. So you can buddy carry, right? So it's fireman carry, or you can do the whole piggyback ride. It's up to you. And bear in mind, we're traveling through the city now. There are hills, there are uphills, there are downhills. There's traffic lights, and all kinds of good, good stuff, good living, they call it. And again, we had time constraints we had to try and meet. And so that was one casualty. Things got interesting because we went from 1 casualty to 2 casualties to our peak 3 casualties. So you do the math, 3 casualties means at any given point, 6 people on this one of the carriers are doing the rucksack and the buddy carry, fireman carry. That means, so 6 people were doing the carrying and being carried. That means 4 people had to distribute the 6 rucksacks. So some of the math didn't work out exactly. So some people had to suck it up. Let's put it this way. It was rough. some people start faltering. Not that's to be expected. It's painful, and there's another exercise where it's like, hey, guess what? Your rucksack doesn't have straps anymore, so you had to carry it however you saw fit. You can firewalk it, so you carry in your hands. You can basically host it on your shoulder. The other shirt you put it in your head. You can put it in a baby or carry as a baby. It didn't matter, but you can't use the straps. So that was rough because no matter how you hold it, it hurts. It's 35 pounds of just hugging something, right? It sucks, and that's the point. And I remember a lesson I learned in doing that. One of the lessons was, I believe everybody carries their own weight. I believe everybody should carry their weight unless something debilitating happens. They roll their ankle or something. Um, but some people didn't agree. Some people were like, hey, person marching in front with a team weight and a flag, maybe we can carry their rucksack for them. So I saw the team struggle for a bit, trying to, I hate to say it, but cater to the weak. Hey, we can do double work for the sake of that person up front. And so people were trying to farmer's walk, carry both bags, which is taxing on forearms. And basically at one point, I had to step in and say, hey, you know what? How about this? Let's all of us pull our weight, meaning let's all carry our own rucksack instead of trying to destroy the team who are trying to do double duty for some reason. In any case, when people actually pull their own weight, we came together. So looking back, we basically went from Venice Pier, we went to Santa Monica Pier, we hiked through Santa Monica, we went through Beverly Hills, Sunset Boulevard, went through Los Feliz, went through Hollywood, West Hollywood. Ultimately, the last 2-3 hours were hiking in the Hollywood Hills in the sun, and there was definitely some steep hills. And we ended up at the Griffith Observatory 24 hours later to earn our patch, which is never sold and only rewarded for completion of the 24-hour event. And this patch, I believe there's less than 200 that's been given out. And actually, this one's going to go to my dad. I decided I actually bought a hat from their company, a tactical special ops hat, which would be really cool. And you can slap the patch on top of the hat, and actually going to give it to my dad. So that way, you can replace the rugby hat that he's had, that I've given him since I played rugby for 4 years in college. That's all worn out now. So that'd be cool. Some reflection from the event that were really interesting lessons for me. First off, I want to say special thanks to James Ferguson. He's one of my CrossFit buddies at the gym. And also special thanks to the coach, Eric Leclerc, who actually is also my coach at the CrossFit gym, who actually helped encourage me to do this event. Some takeaways. I think one of the things is immediately I can see that people have strengths and people have weaknesses. Just because somebody's quote unquote weak right now doesn't mean he or she doesn't have strength that may be useful later. In the first 3 hours, a lot of weaknesses showed up. And I think it would have been easy for me to just write them off as, oh my gosh, they're weak. They're going to be detriments to the team. What are they doing here? I bit my tongue, and I'm glad I did because they end up excelling. A lot of them excel through the remaining 21 hours. So people will have different strengths, different weaknesses. They're going to show up here and there. And I believe it's important now. It's important when you see somebody on your team that's weak, don't be condescending. Don't be judgmental. And because the reason I say that is you never know when you will be that weak one. When you need their motivation, when you need their help, their support. Because 24 hours is a long time. Another thing that I learned that was actually very important for me was during the event, I was among the stronger ones. I did a lot of the carrying, and I often wanted to lead. I was the ones ahead. And I just remember being yelled at a lot by people to slow down, slow down, slow down. I just remember like my gut feeling, knee-jerk reaction is kind of anger. I was angry, angry. I was annoyed at the fact that people were telling me to slow down. In my mind, I'm thinking, dude, you guys should be speeding up, right? You shouldn't cater to weakness. You should look at who is leading the charge and follow suit. The problem I learned with that is you're not respecting other people's physical limitations, I don't say motivation. Because some people really can't go as hard, as fast as you. hey, there will be times when I will be among the slow ones, I'm sure. Okay? And so a better way to lead, I was thinking, well, I'll lead by being ahead. People will follow. People will get motivated, but it's not necessarily the case because they're not motivated. I'm sure you guys look at your life, your business is, it's like who can you be? Do you look up to the Olympians? I think I won't be just like them. Maybe you do, but oftentimes you think, oh, I can never be like that. So an alternative to leadership I learned is, what if rather than leading the charge, I'm behind the whole pack with a gentle hand on the last person and gently pushing him or her and whispering his or her ears, hey, you can do it. Hey, let's pick up a little bit. Hey, just a little bit longer. I believe in you. I believe you can keep going. I believe that you have it in you to finish the next 12 hours, the next 18 hours. Because there are people that are sucking wind, like all of us were sucking wind. And I'm proud to admit that the whole idea of quitting never occurred to me, but I also know it has occurred to other people. And maybe all they needed was that gentle push, not necessarily physically, but spiritually, right? And just that motivation and saying those, I believe in you. I think that's a different type of form of leadership that I would definitely want to investigate more, and definitely sounds more appealing because, again, put yourself in their shoes. There will be times when you will be the weak one, and you definitely could use that extra hand, extra push from somebody else. Some other reflections looking back at the 24-hour event. You're more powerful than you give yourself credit for. And that applied to me, that applied to my teammates, and that applies to you as well. And I say that because looking back at my training for this event, for the prior few months, I would put on my rucksack with the 6 bricks in it. I had my, bladder, water hydration pack in there. I would go rucking. I would go drive to the hills. I would hike for 2 to 4 hours. I would be exhausted. I'll be, oh my God, this back is heavy. This sucks. My legs are sore. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. What am I doing? I'm bored. And I would go home and call it a day. Now, the pack I was carrying at that time probably weighed in about 40, 45 pounds. Because again, it was dry. You only had the bricks in, only had the hydration pack. It didn't have any of the other stuff. The protein bars, the gels, the electrolyte tablets, my salmon, the beef jerky. We were supposed to pack whatever we think we needed for 24 hours. It didn't have any of that. And yet it was heavy. In those moments, if you were to ask me, hey Ray, can you imagine yourself carrying easily double that and then some for 24 hours and go rucking? I don't know if I could have said yes, because it wasn't within my realm of reality. It didn't seem reasonable at the time. And yet the funny thing is, throughout the whole event, more than half of the time I was carrying easily over 55 pounds. Easily more than my rucksack. I was carrying double that, right? Anywhere from, say, 80 pounds to 110 to 230 at my peak to 300 pounds in the sand. And yet I did that basically for 24 hours. And here I was training for this event, bitching and moaning about 45 pounds on my backpack, hiking for 2 to 4 hours. And I guess my point in saying that is, in doing the 24-hour event, all of us, I believe, did amazing things that wasn't even within my realm reality, our realities. Because you know why? Because most of us live our lives trying to be reasonable. Because you know what? If you ask me, hey, Ray, is it reasonable to expect you to carry 110 pounds for 12 hours? I don't think I would have said yes. I would have said, dude, no way. Because I was too busy trying to be reasonable. But yet, in the moment, when the challenge, is there, and you stop thinking, process it, stop thinking you have a choice, stop being reasonable, you do it. And I proved that to myself. The other 9 people remaining on the team proved it to themselves as well. So I challenge you to think about your perceived, self-imposed limitations and see how you can possibly break them. I challenge you to, at times, every day, to stop trying to be reasonable, okay? To push your limits, your boundaries, so to speak. Because again, you are more powerful than you truly give yourself credit for. And so once again, I had a great time. GoRuck Heavy, they have other smaller events. GoRuck, they have a 6-hour event, a 12-hour event, and a 24 hours. They also have a 48-hour one called the GoRuck Selection. I haven't decided if I'm going to do it. It's definitely interesting and appealing in a very masochistic way. If I ever decide to do and finish it, I'll be sure to let you know. All right, guys, Raymond Fong here. I'll talk to you soon.